Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the First Responders Podcast. I'm Cameron Hay, at Cameron_Hay on Twitter. I'm joined by Drew Williams, at Dopest Drew on Twitter, and Taylor Ford, at My Forte on Twitter. This is just, the days are running together at this point.
Man,
I've lost track of all sense of time, everything. The world is just moving by, but it seems like we're not doing anything while the world still continues to move.
yeah,
It's a wild time that we're living in.
yeah. I mean, getting new music, a lot of video games. Just trying to keep yourself busy during these times.
I feel like I'm losing my grip on reality each day that passes by. Like, my sanity is slowly leaving.
Yeah, bro. Like, obviously, like, we do this podcast, so like music was always like a big part of our lives. But like Thursday night shouldn't be the biggest thing I'm looking forward to each week.
For real, bro. Like, Thursday night should not be like the highlight of my week every week.
No, let me tell you guys something. I've been playing so much Call of Duty Warzone and not going outside that the other day I walked my dog and I'm walking him and I'm like checking around the corner as if I'm playing Call because I just have not been outside. And it just feels like it's merging, man. It's just, man.
It's like 28 days later when Cillian Murphy, when he woke up, when I was like nothing was like the same. Like,
yeah.
I feel like a zombie is gonna run me down if I go outside for too long and walk down the street for too long. Like, there's nobody out there. This is crazy. We live in Los Angeles, like, and LA is not even like busy at all. There hasn't been anybody on the highways.
Yeah.
Anything. Like, this is insane. I don't know what it's like for you in Portland, Tay, like how drastic of a difference it is. Like, what has it been like there?
Honestly, bro, it's really hard for me to get a gauge because, like, with my job, I'm able to work from home, and then I got 3 major grocery stores within like 5 to 10 blocks from my apartment. I got a liquor store right around the corner. I got 2 dispensaries right on the block. So like, I really don't really have to like leave my apartment too much. When I do leave, like, highways are pretty clear, but yeah. I really don't talk to people besides my roommate and then somebody else. Like, if I go on a run, that's about it.
Yeah, it's getting spooky out here, man, for sure. But like you said, you mentioned like it's been a bunch of new music coming out and everything, so we have been able to have that at least. What have you guys been listening to recently, like the last couple of weeks or so? Tay, you go ahead and start it off.
Like the last week, like on top of like new music that's been coming out, I've been listening to a lot of Her's last projects, bumping that heavy on R&B tip. I went back, and I don't know why, it was like some debate that started about like who popularized Air Force One and popular culture between Nelly and A$AP Rocky, and then that made me want to go back and listen to Nellyville. Hey, Quiet as Kept, that shit don't get talked about enough as far as like early 2000 rap projects.
It's a really good album. It had Dilemma's on there, Air Force Ones is on there, Hot and is on there. Pimp Juice is number one is on there too, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, like that album got a bunch of hits, bro. Like Nellyville, Country Grammar, it's always going to be hard to follow up an album. I'm not gonna say hard to follow up. When you release an album like Country Grammar as your debut, it's always going to overshadow what comes next more times than not. Like, it's just the way that it works. Like, I feel the same way about The Massacre in comparison to Get Rich or Die Trying. Like, of course, The Massacre isn't as good as Get Rich or Die Trying.
But it's a good album.
It's a good album.
But it gave half the game.
Yeah, like we're not gonna get into that. But the album is still good. So it's like when you follow up a huge classic debut album like that, that's damn near larger than life and probably the biggest album of your career, out the gate is always going to overshadow what comes directly after it. I think that even happened to an extent with maybe, is it fair to say that kind of happened with Late Registration? With College Dropout, Late Registration was the bigger album commercially, but I feel like it didn't get, I feel like people still feel like College Dropout is better than Late Registration, when I feel like Late Registration is better than College Dropout.
That's mainly for like nostalgia. Everybody loved when they first heard somebody or when they were blowing up.
Yeah.
And College Dropout just really had you know, our first real introduction to Kanye. You know, all them tracks we love, like Through the Wire and all that.
Slow jams and
All Falls Down. Like people just love that, and like even though Kanye has multiple albums better than that, like a lot of casual fans still feel like College Dropout is their favorite album.
Yeah, I agree. That's crazy. You went back and listened to Nellyville like that. Say like the album is fire though. The album is really good.
Yeah, bro. I've just been trying to like explore different shit I could listen to right now because I'm having trouble like finding like different mediums and entertainment right now just because it's so much like 2K or whatever else playing I could play or like just stare at the screen.
Yeah, like to be honest.
Yeah. And Netflix ain't worth shit, so
watch Black as Fuck on Netflix. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I was kind of skeptical at first.
Yeah,
but it's funny.
You don't like Blackish, though, do you? Or
I've never really dove into Blackish or Mixedish or Grownish. Like,
oh, I mean, I showed you those. Like,
yeah, like I've never really. But that's mainly because like I don't.
But
watch
that show is like more like a family corny type of like funny Blackish.
Yeah.
Whereas like Black AF is like the more
it's unfiltered.
Yeah, you know.
It's like a reality TV show version of sitcoms. Like it's hard to explain, but trust me, if you watch it, it'll be entertaining. I've never watched the other shows, not because I don't care for them. It's just because I don't watch that much television to begin with. So when I turn on TV to watch it, I'm usually not going to cut that on. And the only reason I cut this on, to be honest with you, is because, like you said, trying to find different mediums of entertainment, and I ended up watching it, and it was actually pretty funny. So I'll recommend that to you.
For sure, I'll check it out. I've heard mixed reviews, but if y'all both co-sign it, I'll give it a chance.
Yeah, it's solid. It's solid, bro. Drew, what have you been listening to?
Man, I've been running Born Sinner lately, which is like kind of funny. As me, like I used to like slander J. Cole a lot.
Yeah.
But I've come around to a lot of his old music and kind of like found appreciation in select tracks more. But been running that. I've been running that Trey Songz, what's the name of that track? Last Time.
Oh yeah.
We were running. And what was the track?
That's his best. That's his best song in my opinion.
What's that album we were talking about the other day?
By who?
Confessions. I'm tripping. Yeah, Confession. I've been running that lately, like, and Future, the Future album. So
Born Sinner. You said you went back and listened to it, and you realized like a lot of J. Cole's music is like.
Well, remember the other day we were talking, and Land of Snakes came on, and Trouble came on, and
Trouble.
And I'm like, man, it's a lot of really good tracks on this album, and it kind of really got caught in the fluster by the fact that It and Yeezus came out on the same day, and they both kind of like, you know, had negative effects on each other, I think.
All I'm gonna say is how the tables have turned.
I don't think that Yeezus. I don't think Born Sinner had any effect on Yeezus. I'm gonna be honest with you. Yeezus had his own effects on Yeezus, like as far as sales wise, like not having a concrete date for a long time. Album, just the sound of it completely turning a lot of people off. Like I like Yeezus. I think me and you like Yeezus a lot. Like, but like I just think that was just such a polarizing album. But I wanted to get back to the point I was bringing up with you bringing up Born Sinner when you said a lot of his music is like kind of like aged better for you than you thought. Is it fair to say that a lot of the pushback that we kind of had against J. Cole wasn't necessarily J. Cole's fault? Tay was a huge J. Cole fan. We met him. I mean, Tay wasn't one of these fans, but as pretentious as his fans were on social media and in real life, like,
they would make you feel as if you don't think J. Cole is the greatest lyricist ever. Like, you just don't get it.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, you just don't get it. And if you tell them you like Young Thug, they're like, oh, you really just don't get it. And I'm like, oh, I just don't understand what you're hearing when you, like, he's not really that profound. He can rap.
He can rap.
Very, very good at rapping.
He's a good storyteller.
He have a lot of corny lines in his rap too, but not as much anymore.
No.
But, you know, he's not like, you know, Kendrick or like, you know.
They would make him sound like he's Tupac or
something. They be
something.
talking about him like he Nas and, you know, like he's some like lyrical miracle rapper. And,
Yeah.
like, he's not that, you know?
I think that was the main thing I had.
And the platinum with no features thing.
Yeah, that's what I was like. His fans, like, they just like. I feel like J. Cole's fans kind of ruined J. Cole in the eyes of people who weren't diehard J. Cole fans for a long time. This is just me from the outside looking in, and I think I'm with you to an extent. I found myself like being more open to defending J. Cole against certain criticisms now, and just taking his music for what it is, kind of blocking out the outside noise. And I think it makes his music a lot more. It makes the listening experience way better, and it makes you appreciate who he is as an artist more, in my opinion, when you just take him for what he is and you can kind of separate him from the fan base. That's kind of what I try to tell people to do with Kendrick Lamar as well. I know a lot of people who don't like Kendrick feel the same way about his fans to a certain extent. I don't think they've gotten to the point that where Cole fans were at their peak, just because I feel like what is his fan base called? The Dreamers?
Dreamville?
No, that's the label is like Dreamville. But what was the fan base for J. Cole's?
Bro, really that whole like term Dreamville, they use that shit in so many different ways. Like,
yeah,
it's a fan base, record label, media company, everything.
Yeah. Like, I think they were just J. Cole has, in my opinion, the biggest cult following out of the top 3 or 4 rappers of that generation, between him, Drake, Kendrick, and if you want to say Future. I feel like J. Cole's like core fans, I feel like, are stronger. Just like they go harder for him than the other fan bases go for those guys. Like, I would really put them up against damn near. They aren't terroristic levels of the Barbs, but like that's just like how strong your core fan base is.
Nicki fans and J. Cole fans, they will come in your mentions.
Yeah,
and they will camp in your mentions for like 2 hours, bro.
They will,
like,
exactly. So I think
but like, even outside the internet, though, you make a good point, Kim, because like there are certain motherfuckers who like I've created relationships with like online, and then like seeing them at events or like they like be popping up or like flying to many shows that like his camp actually like knows them like on a personal level.
Yeah,
like this one shorty I follow named Dahlia. I don't know if y'all remember, what album was that? 2014 Forest Hills Drive. Like, she was the first person to hear it outside of his camp, and now like more or less like if she wants to go to a show, all she gotta do is hit Ibrahim or Cole, and she got a ticket there or VIP stage pass.
See, and I think stuff like that is dope. I think that's dope for Dreamville, the label, and J. Cole. Like,
how many times can you see those snooze fest bars live?
Bro, I will give J. Cole this.
How many?
I will give him this. He out of these his generation of artists, and even guys that come after him, because I don't feel like anybody who's come after these guys are as good as performers as them. He gives the most intimate show, I will say, out of all of them. And I haven't seen him live, but after watching the HBO Forest Hill Drive thing and just seeing clips of like his shows, he clearly looks like there's a different connection that he has with his fans when performing live. So like, if you're a real diehard J. Cole fan, I completely understand going to see him multiple times. Like, I've seen Kendrick Lamar perform live. I saw the damn tour. I've seen Drake perform live a couple of times. I've seen Future live. Like, they don't have the same intimate show that J. Cole has with his fan base. So I will give him that. That is why they will continue to show up in droves to his concerts. And they don't do stuff like the what was the $1 in a Dream thing that he did? Like, you come to
that shit was dangerous.
What were you saying, Tay?
I said that shit was dangerous as fuck. They couldn't do that shit now.
No, but just like when you do stuff like that coming up,
I remember when one of them happened, and like it got tweeted, and everybody just like
showed up,
ran to that spot, and I drove by, and there was a line all the way around the block.
Yeah, bro,
trying to get in.
But that when you do stuff like that, that's how you cultivate a strong core audience. That's how you're able to build the following that he's been able to build over the course of his career. But yeah, back to just the original point. I agree with Drew to an extent. It's funny, like Tay said, the tables have turned. How I'm much more open to giving J. Cole his just due now, that I can just separate the music from the fan base, from his audience. Like once I've matured myself, becoming like a grown man and not a teenager anymore or a young adult, to the point where like outside noise doesn't influence me as much, and I can appreciate J. Cole, the artist, for who he is and what he's contributed to hip hop over the last decade. As far as me, what I've been listening to, definitely been running Division's album, Muse and Her Feelings. Love that album. I listened to Fabio Foreign's 800 BC mixtape that dropped on Friday. I kind of like the Brooklyn drill music. Like I was kind of feeling Pop Smoke before he passed away, and I like the sound of this. Like just gives me real upbeat. And shout out to the homie Sandy. She put me on to Chef G, the Unlucky Lucky Kid. I've been listening to this. It's like kind of like drill music as well. I don't think you guys will like it, to be honest with you, but just knowing how you two listen to music, but it's cool to me, to be honest with you. And it has some songs that I've kept been listening to. But I wanted to get back to like Division, the Muse and Her Feelings. Is it safe to say like R&B has been having like a strong start to 2020 so far this year? R&B pop music, like I feel like The Weeknd is kind of like pop, but he toes the line. But we've talked about Division's album. We talked about Party Next Door's album. Like, is it safe to say like R&B and pop music kind of is like at the forefront so far this year?
Yeah, and in Canada, you know, Canadian pop and R&B have been probably some of my favorite and the biggest projects.
Yeah, and Tay just was talking about how he was listening to Hers album, Hers music and everything. Yeah, so it's just like,
Canadian.
Like, are you really, you're vibing? Like, I feel like R&B music is just kind of like at the forefront right now. Like, people are really gravitating to it, and they're putting out the best quality of music right now, in my opinion, so far this year, more so than rappers. But we haven't gotten a bunch of hip hop projects.
They really running.
Uzi album. Anybody else?
I'm trying off the top. Those are my two favorite rap albums so far this year. After that, it would definitely be The Weeknd's After Hours album, Division's Muse and Her Feelings album, and Party Next Door, Party Mobile. Like those are probably my 5 favorite projects that have dropped this year. Uzi, Baby, Division, The Weeknd, and Party Next Door. So, Tay, what were you were about to say something? What were you saying?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, they really been holding it down for us this year on music tip, because outside Baby, Uzi, that honestly might be the only rap projects I've really been listening to since 2020 hit.
That's really how I feel. Like so far this year, those are the only 2 rap albums that I've really, really found myself going back to listen to. So yeah, for sure. And that's a perfect segue into the album that we're going to talk about today, which I think this is like a blend of like hip hop R&B. I don't think it's true R&B, but it's
like most R&B artists today.
And so that brings us to K Camp's Kiss 5, the final installment to his Kiss series. These are his words. First of all, like when you take a look back at K Camp's career, from I want to say he started blowing up around our senior year of high school. I would say that's when Money Baby and It Ain't Nothing to Cut That Bitch Off. Those songs like really took off, like, and made him a star. This is about 7, 8 years into his career at this point. Like he's been around for a minute, like this, and he's got probably 10 projects under his belt. Did you guys envision him sticking around this long when he first came onto the scene when we were in high school? Did you think that we would be talking about a K Camp album 7, 8 years down the line?
2020, definitely not. Because I thought he was going to be
a
single guy. Like he'll have a couple, bubbling tracks here and there, but those guys usually fizzle out in 5 years.
Yeah.
They usually here today, gone tomorrow, never hear from them again. But he's definitely gotten a good leg out of his career. He's being a good songwriter, a good singer actually.
Yeah,
who can rap. So when you work hard, he works hard.
Yeah. Tay, what about you?
Yeah, I honestly thought he was gonna be like one of those guys from Atlanta who like Drew was saying, was able to like get on hooks and like compliment tracks and had a nice run of that for like a year or two, like Roscoe Dash. I'm trying to think of some other guys right now.
Tfr.
T-Fly from out here.
Yeah,
but
same type of hook.
Hell, you
Even
could throw at both
singles weren't as big either. But like in that same thing though.
But yeah, like
ain't nobody thought he was gonna last till 20.
No, like, and the thing that kind of like opened my eyes up to K Camp to like really like take him serious as an artist. I like the songs that we named. Like those are hits. Those are like club records, fun, like parties, everything. We would hear him out and everything. But I think my eyes really opened up to like he could be a legitimate, viable artist was when Comfortable dropped. You remember that song, Tay? It's like the biggest. And I think it's the most recognized K Camp song in his career at this point. The song "Comfortable." It's like an R&B record, and I've heard it at cookouts. I've heard it at parties. I've heard it in multiple different settings. And so that was when that's when I first realized he could make good R&B music. Was when I heard that, and that kind of made me dive into his catalog a bit more and become more of a follower of his. And I can honestly say, up to this point, K Camp has a pretty strong catalog of music. He has a lot of projects that I find myself enjoying. A lot of good singles. It feels like he's caught a second wind in mainstream pop culture over the course of the last 7-8 months with how big the song "Lottery" had became on TikTok and Renegade. It turned into the Renegade dance and everything on TikTok. It kind of basically, for lack of, to be honest with you, it became the song of All-Star Weekend. The original girl who started the TikTok. I'm sorry for forgetting her name right now. It's eluding me. But she became like the story of All-Star Weekend when they had the other TikTok girls come in and they were doing her dance and she wasn't getting credit for it. So they flew her in to Chicago and she was able to perform the dance during All-Star Friday night, I believe, or Saturday night during the dunk contest and 3-point shootout before. I believe that's when she got to perform it with K Camp there with her. And so it seems like that's kind of brought more eyes on him as we've gotten closer and closer to the release date of Kiss 5, which is where we are now. I gotta be honest with you guys, like, I really enjoyed this album. I enjoyed this album a lot. And this is, like, you guys know the type of hip hop I'm into. Like, I'm into like the melodic, slower type of music. And so this is right up my alley. And I was very, very pleased with the product that we got. I'll let you guys go take the floor and talk about it, talk about the album yourselves and what you liked or didn't like about it before I go too deep into it. I'll go ahead and let Drew start it off.
I enjoyed definitely a lot of the album. And what I liked is, I feel like, I talk about it a lot. 15 is a good number. I really like that number for albums.
Less than 50 minutes.
Yeah, like 15 tracks, you can get to the point and you're not having too much filler. But Regret, the intro, I really, he started off really strong with me. Fall in Line was really good. Tatted Up with Fabo, the D4L, like the Tatted Up song, that was a dope sample type of thing. Trill Love, I like that too. The track with Jacquees, What's on Your Mind?
Yeah.
Very, very fire. I mean, like I said, he's very good at the rapping, singing type of like switching between the two. Like you can do your own hooks and you can rap and then you can sing in the rapping and, harmonize the voice.
Yeah.
But Friendly is probably one of my favorite tracks, Energy and Scared of Love. Those are definitely up there. But man, the Black Man Don't Cheat anthem, I really flocked with that one, man. Like,
talk about it.
Like he was talking that shit on there, man.
It's funny.
Man, I'm spitting.
It's funny the juxtaposition of the track too, because he has Greasy on it. like she's basically going against him and Black, and him and Black are basically saying, what Black say on the song, like you see this melanin, like I'm basically, there's no way I could cheat, pretty much. It's a goofy song, but it's good. It's good. Like when I saw the song on the track list, I was like, yo, is this nigga serious? But it actually turned out to be pretty good. and enjoyable. It's not corny. It doesn't become corny. But Tay, I'll let you go ahead and say what you were about to say.
For me, I thought the album was pretty good. Overall, it's gonna be a listen kind of similar to how I fucked with Birds in the Trap Scene, Brian McKnight, like something great that I could like play my whip, or like I'm just like listening to some shit and I haven't to worry about like filtering through songs. I could run it all the way through for the part. Tad right now, probably Tat It Up would be my favorite track off the projects, along with Ice Cold, which to me honestly probably was in my top 10 favorite tracks that dropped last year.
Yeah, it's a single before it's out.
Yep. True Love was really strong as well. I thought he started out 8 for 8 as far as like just shit that I know I'm gonna go back to. Towards the back end of the album, I think it got a little choppy. Thought the album length was a good size. Like it didn't feel too long or feel like it was draining out too long. But he has a really good ear for being able to harmonize sounds and like be able to like jump in and out of different pockets, whether it's like rapping or singing.
Yeah, I agree. And I agree with your point about the back end of the album. Like I agree with you. I'll say the first 11 songs, to be honest with you, for me, I really like. Fall in Line is my favorite song off the album so far. Like, this is like one of those songs like where I heard it and I just know I'm gonna be playing this all year. We're gonna get to the end of the year when we do our end of the year recap episode, our favorite songs, favorite albums of 2020. I'm already calling this song is going to probably be on my top 10 songs of the year. I've played this song an unreasonable amount of times already in the past 48 hours since I out. Like, I've played this song so much. I've tweeted the lyrics to it so much, posted lyrics on my Instagram story. Like, it's just a great record in my opinion. I agree with both of you guys about Tatted Up. I think it was dope how he flipped the sample and also was able to get Fable on the record in 2020 to give a verse. I thought that was dope. What's on Your Mind with Jacquees is one of the stronger songs on the album for sure, in my opinion. I think that I already knew this, and I'm pretty sure people who were fans of K-Camp realize this already. But the songwriting on this album is really good, in my opinion. On top of him having a better understanding than most of how melodies. If you can have a good melody on a record, it can do all the work for you. It can do most of the heavy lifting. If you can just have a good melody that's something that's easy for people to listen to, it can catch their ear, catchy, you can bob your head to it. That can do a lot of the work for you on these records. And I think there are very few people in hip hop right now, in R&B, who have a better understanding of that than K-Camp. Like, he's just really good at that. I thought he got a really, really good Wale verse on this album. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I think that Wale's verse on Trill Love is really, really good. I think that he got a really good Wale verse on here. Not saying that Wale gives bad verses or anything, but Wale really came and brought his A game to this album. Like Tay said, Ice Cold is a great record. It was a single that dropped before the project. I liked it a lot then. It still sounds fresh now. Friendly, which you said is your favorite track so far, one of your favorite tracks, Drew. Really good record with Young Blue. Young Blue is also a guy I feel like is pretty underappreciated I think he's from Alabama. He's pretty underappreciated though. I think he has a really, really good sound. He's melodic as well. Really rough around the edges, but melodic at the same time. I think that they complemented each other well on that particular track. You talked about the Black Men Don't Cheat record already. And then top 10 with Yella Beezy. I'm not the biggest Yella Beezy fan. I'm not gonna act like I'm a huge fan of his. Besides the song That's On Me, Baby, that's really the only song that I've ever really listened to from Yella Beezy. But he gave he gave K-Camp a great verse on here as well, in my opinion. And it made me interested to go back and check out some of his music now, stuff that I might have been asleep on in the past. So I'm definitely gonna go back and look into Yella Beezy's catalog to see what he's about, get more in tune with him. And then I agree with Tate. At that point, I think that the album kind of doesn't stick the landing quite all the way. I don't count Lottery Renegade on here as a bonus track, and it was on his last album, Way Too Critical, which
I
came
don't
out
know how
last
he
year.
did that. How he got it on the album from last year and this year.
Not sure, but Way Too Critical came out last summer, and this was on that album. So I don't really count that. The Scared of Love outro is solid, but Energy and One More Time with Jeremiah just kind of fell a little flat for me.
Whoa, Energy was fire, man.
My opinion is subject to change as well. Like
I didn't fuck with it different, bro.
You didn't like it?
Yeah, no, I didn't. Energy either.
No, like it's not a bad.
Abasi, that's Little's favorite track.
Yeah, it's not a bad record by any means, but it's just there. Like if it wasn't on the project, I don't think I would miss anything. But like I said, my opinion is subject to change as time goes on, like for sure. But I think he, out of the 14 songs, I'm not gonna count. Like I said, I don't really count Lottery Renegade. Out of the 14 songs, I think it's 10 really strong records here, and I don't know if you guys have like been listening to his previous projects the same way I do. Like I've been a fan of K-Camps for a while now, but I just think this continues his trend of consistently putting out solid, really good projects. He doesn't make bad music, in my opinion. Like he hasn't put out anything I haven't liked in a minute. And it's in specific, his last 3 projects, solo projects, that is, from Kiss 4 to Way Too Critical and now Kiss 5, I don't think he's missed. So he's on a pretty strong run. I'm hoping that this project can maybe push him forward a little bit more, maybe bring him back closer to the forefront of hip hop. I know he's not going to become a big star at this point, like a mega star. It's just not in the cards for him. But hopefully, with the anticipation that was built around this project and the noise that came around it because of the Lottery Renegade situation, and even the little beef that he had with I think I want to say Prairie View in Texas, the college. Like his name has kind of been in the news, not in the news, but like in social media web and everything. Yeah. He's been having a little bit of buzz outside of the music. So hopefully all of that brought a few more eyes and ears to this project, which can maybe kind of propel him a little bit.
Do you think it'd be a good guess to think that this will be his largest debut week ever?
I don't even know what his biggest debut is to this point. But I would not be surprised if this definitely had the biggest out of any album or project that he released. Like, I don't know off the top of my head what his biggest debut week is for me to say, but if this ended up being it, it would not surprise me. What were you about to say, Tay?
Hey, Kim, so like you said, he's consistently putting out quality music. If you just had to evaluate their last like 4 or 5 projects that have dropped in years, who would you say is a more consistent artist than him or Tory?
K-Camp, for sure. By a pretty comfortable margin, in my opinion, as well. Tory has put out more music in the last 4 years, like more projects. Like since 2016, he put out his debut album, I Told You, New Toronto. What was it, 2 New Toronto, and then he put out 2 Chicks tapes in that time period. Love Me Now. What was that? Memories Don't Die. Like he just put out way more projects. And Tory, out of all of those projects, I think I liked Chicks Tape 5 is really like soured on me as time has passed. Like the further we've gotten away from it, the less I've found myself going back to even listen to it. I haven't even gone back to it since probably the second week it's been out. I've never really cared for any of the New Toronto series tapes from him. Like New Toronto 3 that just came out, listened to it the night it came out, haven't revisited it. But Love Me Now, I've spoken ad nauseum about that project. I love that album. I really like Memories Don't Die. I thought that was a really strong album. And I liked his debut. I Told You. So he's got 3 good projects in the last 4 years. His albums have all been good, in my opinion. It's where he gotten into the Chicks Tape 4 and 5. I really don't care for. 4 was not good at all, in my opinion. But 5 is just like so-so. And then the New Toronto series, I don't really care for as well either. I think Tory could benefit from not putting out as much music. It would make this conversation a little bit more interesting. But I think since 2016, K-Camp for sure has put out projects that I found myself enjoying way more than the Tory Lanez ones as far as consistency. If we just go off of 2017, 2018, 2019, 2017 is when Kiss 4 came out. 2018 was when Way Too Critical came out, and well, I got my years mixed up. 2018 was when Kiss 4 came out. 2019 was when Way Too Critical came out. Now we're in 2020. Kiss 5. Those 3 projects alone, just from that run to now, puts him above Tory as far as quality of the catalog. What about you, Tay? Do you think Tory makes better music than him, or has been more consistent, or do you think K Camp has been more consistent?
It's hard for me to answer that just because, like, I'll admit you like really got me even fucking with this nigga's music. I think you had like posted like the preview he posted for Ice Cold, and like obviously like I heard K Camp over the years, but I was like I didn't take him serious as an artist. And then I like went back and listened to Way Too Critical. I was like, okay, like this nigga got some shit, but I really dig into discography a little bit more. Just over the last 2 years, like I think we're in the same like mind frame as far as like how much we revisit and Chips Tape 5. Like it was a cool moment, but it's not something like I'm seeing myself like turning back to too often.
No.
The new Toronto 3, there were like 4 or 5 tracks that I thought were really strong on there. 10 Fucks like has been like my rotation as far as like songs I'm just like listening to, like if I'm just searching for a single to hear.
Yeah.
But the overall like project doesn't have any like real flow to it to me. So I think that's some Tory struggles with. So just off of that alone, I'd probably, if I was going like project for project, the last 2 drops, I'd have to give it to K Camp.
Yeah, and something I also struggle with New Toronto 3 as well was I feel like Tory still, for some whatever reason, can't consistently find his own sound. Like on that project, it was multiple songs where I listened and I was like, yo, he sounds just like Drake here. Or yo, he sounds just like Meek Mill here. And I don't get how he still is struggling with that at this point in his career, considering he's made albums, in my opinion, when you go back and listen to like Memories Don't Die and Love Me Now, where I think he sounds completely original, like his own artist. I just don't understand how on this new project, New Toronto 3, I'm listening to this project and I'm like, yo, I don't hear Tory Lanez. I hear Meek Mill. I hear Drake. I hear other people. I don't hear him. Like, that's why I struggle with that project a lot. And it just confused me, especially for somebody I think is as talented as Tory is. It just didn't make sense. Tory, for sure, in the last 4 years, though, much bigger singles, bigger hit records. He's the bigger artist. But I just think that K Camp has been fairly more consistent.
Now, when you say you hear these other artists, do you mean as far as like the delivery and inflection in his voice, or like how he raps or sings?
The delivery and how he raps. Let me go pull up New Toronto 3. I haven't even listened to this shit since it released. Let me see if I can remember what songs there were where I was like, yo, like.
And the only reason why I asked that, I mean, I'm pretty like I'll say I am the biggest Game fan, like of the 3 of us. Like he's in my top 10 favorite rappers of all time. But like he's an example of a nigga who like literally learned how to rap by mimicking other niggas' flows and just like inserting different words.
Yeah, didn't he say he like learned pretty much by listening to Nas?
Yeah, listening to Nas, Pac, and Easy.
Yeah,
for the most part.
And Game, that has been the biggest criticism and critique against him throughout his career, in my opinion. Well, from what I've seen anyway, is that he has a habit of whoever he's on a song with sounding just like them to an extent. And I think that kind of is a fair criticism against Game, but I do think that Game has more of an original sound than, I don't want to say has more of an original sound than Tory. I don't want to say that. But I think Game has created enough classic projects and songs where he sounds like his own man to where that argument can fall on deaf ears on my end as well. Because say what you want about Game, One Blood don't sound like nothing anybody else has. Nobody else has One Blood. Nobody else has
one of the biggest posture records ever.
Yeah, nobody else has. I don't think he Wouldn't Get Far. I don't think he sounds like Kanye West on there. I think he sounds like himself. And Kanye just came on and does what Kanye does. I think Game has enough classic records in his own right to even Dreams. Like he's name dropping everybody in the history of hip hop, damn near.
Bro,
But
like 30 names.
But nobody else has records that sound like that. Like I think Game has enough records, huge classic hip hop records, to where he sounds like himself. Whereas Tory, I don't think Tory. I like Tory Lanez a lot. I like his music. I like him as an artist. Does he have a classic record at this point? I don't think so. Does
Say it.
Say it.
The sample carries that record as well too. Like not disrespecting him, but like the sample does most of the heavy lifting on that record. That record isn't what it is without that sample. Like he has other good singles, like very good singles, charting singles, everything. But yeah, I just don't think Tory, like Game first album, what was the first single off of the documentary? Was it How We Do? How We Do was the first thing, was the lead single off that album. Yeah. Like even with 50 Cent being
How We Do,
rap, like
then West Side Stories.
Yeah, like even with 50 Cent being the biggest thing in rap when that song dropped, like you heard that immediately, and like you just kind of people just knew like that this was a big deal. Like Hate It or Love It is on there. Like it's classic records on that debut album.
Yeah,
like,
classic album.
Yeah, it's a classic album. It's a classic debut. And then the Game had more classic records on The Doctor's Advocate. Like we're about 3 albums into Tory's career, and I just don't know if we have a legitimate timeless record from Tory Lanez yet. And it's crazy. The last 5 minutes, it seemed like it's turning to slandering Tory Lanez, and I didn't want that to happen because I do like Tory a lot. In comparison to K Camp, I think K Camp has been a bit more consistent. He doesn't have the budget that Tory has. It's funny because I think they both were. Is Kiss 5? Is he signed to Interscope? Yeah, it's under. No, this is a New Toronto 3. Let me go back to Kiss 5. Yeah, Interscope. It's funny. They both signed an Interscope. Tory is like out of his deal now at this point. It's like funny. They both were signed Interscope, but Tory was getting more of a push than K Camp for whatever reason. I don't work at a label or anything, so I don't know what the reason is. But K Camp is, in my opinion, an artist. I have not worked for a label full time, but K Camp is just like, for whatever reason, he just has not gotten the push from Interscope in a long time, to be honest with you. I feel like this is the biggest moment in his career, the last year or so, from Lottery to now. This is the biggest moment in his career since the first year or two of his career, in my opinion. When he had people's attention a lot, when Money Baby first dropped and Cut That Bitch Off, when he had, I think 2 Chainz was on the remix or was on there. And then Just Being Comfortable in 2014. Like, I just feel like from his first 3 years or first year or two from his debut, this is the biggest, most eyes he's had on him. It's just crazy that he's able, from everything that has happened in between that point, that we've made it 7-8 years later. And we're saying that, like, I guess that's a testament to his perseverance or persistency, maybe.
Yeah, bro. Like, you got to tip your hat off to niggas like that who can have like this huge charting single to kick off their career and then commercially go through a lull, but then still put out quality music, still make relationships to where you can get on projects like Mailbox Money. The like tracks you may be on where it may not be a huge single, but you clearly cooking with other artists and they respect the work you do. And then to bounce back off of that and to get another smash hit.
Yeah. I completely forgot he was on Between Us, but like I talked about earlier, he works hard, obviously.
Yeah.
You know, you don't get, the level of longevity, and like I really think he has more so like a cult following.
Yeah, for sure.
Like we talk about.
For sure.
And, his cult fans are sticking around, like you said, saying the rap community keeps calling him because they know he's good quality.
I will say that K Camp has been campaigning for this for a minute now, and I think it is time. I've been on the record for saying it's time for this like a year or two ago when he was first tweeting. Well, he's been tweeting about it for a long time, but he's been tweeting about this. He's getting more and more vocal. He has been like calling out Drake on Twitter just to work, like do a song or anything. I want to hear a Drake and K Camp record. I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. If they do a R&B ish hip hop type record, I am 100% on board for it. It is time for Drake to pick up the phone and call this man, bro. Like K Camp been asking to work with him on Twitter publicly since like 2014. To be honest with you, he's been a public fan of Drake's. Like I want to hear that record. I don't know about you guys, but I would definitely want to hear a K Camp and Drake record at this point. Like definitely.
I'd definitely be open to it because I fuck with both of them. But I will say artists gotta stop doing that.
What publicly?
Have some damn pride.
Well, I mean, yeah, definitely have some pride, but like, it's not. I don't think he's begging Drake to like work with him. He's just going out saying, "Yo, tell like Drake, I want to work with." Like, I remember when the night Scorpion dropped, he tweeted some shit out. He was like, "Yo, like this, like it's time for us to work together." Like,
or the other end of the spectrum. Like we we're just talking about Tory. Hey, I will give you all this money if you listen to my music and don't like it and don't want to sign it.
Yeah,
you can have all this money.
That was what he was trying to get Drake's attention with at first, wasn't it? Yeah, like he was like, yo, like
bro, and that's exactly what I mean, because obviously like you can't go into situations thinking, but say hey, y'all do work together and then shit goes left with y'all relationship. You don't think this man ever gonna bring this shit up of you damn near groveling on your knees publicly?
if it turned into a beef, definitely, probably would. But yeah, man, I just think that K Camp, I've made no bones about it. I haven't hid the fact that he's probably one of my favorite artists recently. Like not recently, just one of my favorite artists in general. Like I've been on Twitter, I've tweeted about it, I've been consistent saying he's pretty underappreciated, and everybody knows I'm a huge Drake fan. So this would be the perfect bonding for me personally to hear this record. I want to hear it one time. I just want to hear it once. Like if they make a record together and it's not good, we can just leave it alone there. We'll never have to do this again. We don't have to bring it up, whatever happens. But I want to hear
what type of production though.
I think both of these guys are able to like blend in to like kind of. I think both guys are kind of able to like become chameleons a bit and can sound well over different types of production. But if I had to pick something off the top of my head, I would say maybe something that 40 produces. One of those slower, like airier type of beats, like something like that. Maybe along the lines of Fire and Desire. I think Fire and Desire, like I think K Camp, something that sounds like that, he could fit in pretty well and work pretty well on a track that sounds similar to that. Like has a sample, really slow pace. It's an R&B record, but they could also come together and make a good club record as well. So who knows?
Yeah, I mean, for me, K Camp made a good album. I definitely enjoyed it. Like I said, out of 15 tracks, I'm probably, as of right now, I probably like, 9 of them maybe.
That's solid.
And for me, somebody who's not really like a big, K Camp fan, like I listen to him here and there when I hear him, but I'm not going out to search for him.
What about you, Tay? What's the final verdict you have on the album and K Camp as an artist?
What was it?
What's the final verdict you have on the album and K Camp going forward? What do you think is the next step for him?
It's hard to say, bro. I think, and he's done a decent job of this, but I think he needs to. He's from Atlanta, right?
Yeah. I think he's born in like Milwaukee, and he came up in Atlanta.
Yeah, bro. He gotta like really tap into that market a little bit more, as far as like leveraging like the guys that live there and are from there. Like I know he had Jacquees on his last project, but whether it's like working with Future again, working with Thug.
Yeah, you got Black.
If he can like, yeah, if he can like leech off their fan bases, I think that would help build up his momentum soon.
Yeah, I think that is a good point. I wonder if like what has that even been talked about or thought of, or has even worked with them behind closed doors? That's an interesting point. Yeah, I like the album a lot. I think like Drew said, he likes 9 out of 15 on first listen. I think I'm probably somewhere around the 10, 11 mark. So it's definitely a success. I enjoy it a lot. The high points are really, really high on here, in my opinion. And it definitely makes me more interested in K-Camp's music going forward. What else he has to offer? What is he going to bring to the table? And does this push him any further than where he already is? These are questions that I think will be answered maybe over the next month or so. We'll have a clear understanding. It's hard to really gauge because he can't. We like when you can't listen to music outside, and you can't go to like clubs or parties and hear how certain records might perform, where it's hard to really tell. So like we can only go off of pretty much really social media engagement. But I'm hoping that this can take him to whatever the next level might be for him. I don't know what that is, but hopefully it can get him there. That'll conclude this episode of the First Responders Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in once again. Be sure to follow us at RNC Radio Live on Twitter and Instagram for all of the different podcasts and content that we have coming out. We appreciate the follow as always. We appreciate the listens. Until next time, we're out.